Good evening.
Good evening. Council members, Lord Mayor, and all here tonight. I bring these remarks this evening as a parent of a high school age student, a concerned former resident of Niagara-on-the-Lake, and as chairman of the advisory board. I want to preface what I say is that there isn't anybody at Eden or on the Eden advisory board that wish to see Niagara District closed. In fact, the opposite is true. We would all embrace and support the idea of having every community, where possible, have a K-12 education. Sometimes it just isn't possible. To go on, I'd like to say that you're probably aware that the Eden Advisory Board has kept silent over the past couple of years, as this debate regarding the future of NDSS has been paramount in this community. We felt that it wasn't our direct concern to engage into, but rather to allow the process between the town of Niagara-on-the-Lake and the DSBN to proceed without interference by us. I, along with many folks in this community, including former councillors, have been greatly saddened and embarrassed by the conduct and the pitting against each other of those who chose to send their students to NDSS, as well as those who didn't. We have to remember that it is a constitutionally sound right for us as parents and students to choose where we select our secondary education. This community has been divided and scarred by the words and deeds of those who are passionate for their cause, regardless of the cost to the larger community. Eden High School and its students have been the brunt of many attacks, although founded on incorrect information. And it's time for us to clear the air, move forward to knit this community back together. This can only be achieved by understanding the facts and agreeing to conduct ourselves with integrity and acceptance of one another, rather than the backbiting comments of the very vocal minority in this community. In the executive summary that was posted on the website this past weekend, the document makes reference to certain items that may be construed as incorrect, but certainly not the wishes of Niagara-on-the-Lake as a whole. The document makes inferences that the recommendations of the latest proposal reflect the community of Niagara-on-the-Lake, when in fact it only reflects the minority of those with specific interests in NDSS. The summary states on page 1 that this proposal would encompass the communities of 750 secondary school-age students, combining public, Catholic, and Mennonite students. And just for clarification this evening, it is not a Mennonite school, as there are over 100 churches represented at that school, and only 13 of them are Mennonite. I don't think that many people in Niagara don't know that. I'd also like to go on record as saying that if a recommendation was in the best interest of these mentioned, I echo the comments of Austin Kirkby earlier, why wasn't it communicated to all the potentially affected families and involved parties? It wasn't communicated to Eden, nor, to my knowledge, was it communicated to the Catholic School Board. Secondly, while it may at first glance seem by some to make sense, there are many facets that would require addressing. Like, for example, the Catholic Board would probably require a revision to its constitution and policy bylaws. Or if, in fact, it was determined that a satellite of Eden could be brought back to Niagara-on-the-Lake, how would the fractured resources of Eden be funded? It should also be noted that back in 1989, Eden and NDSS shared the administration of Principal Robert Canham and Vice Principal Keith Vrieswijk. While there was some discussion on the idea of sharing the facility, it was felt at that time that NDSS wanted to continue to twin with the Shaw Theatre and brand itself as a school for the arts, and perhaps the spiritual aspects of Eden might be better suited somewhere else. That was when Eden began the talks to move from 55 to the former Grantham High School site in St. Catharines. Eden was then notified shortly after that that those talks began, that it wouldn't be possible, as that facility would be sold to the Catholic School Board in a very short time. Scott Lee School was already closed and became a new location which Eden would then reside in. This is where the former free busing came into play for the Niagara-on-the-Lake students. It was a concession for moving their school out of Niagara-on-the-Lake. Free busing has also been cited as a reason for the decline of NDSS, and I have to ask whoever was responsible and tabled that reason to give more credit to the families and students of Edian, or the other students that chose not to attend, to suggest that a free bus ride was the factor that tipped the scale. Of the 770 plus students that attend Eden, only 61 of them ride and pay for a bus ride to the school. 108 of them have found other means to get to and from the school. Clearly, free busing was not the reason to attend Eden. I would like to conclude by saying that according to the executive summary that was posted, there are 750 or so secondary school-age students representing approximately 563 families that live in Niagara-on-the-Lake. 250 of those students, representing about almost 200 families, attend NDSS, and the other 500, approximately 376 families, have chosen to attend secondary school elsewhere. Of those 500, 169 of them are at Eden, leaving 331 that attend other schools, public or private. This is where the pitting against Eden needs to stop. I would like to encourage all of you as counselors that are supposed to support your community to consider how your actions with regards to this recommendation will affect twice as many voting families this next coming year. Respectfully submitted.
Thank you very much. Are there questions or comments? Councillor Viola.
Yes, Lord Mayor, just to follow up my question to the previous speaker, to you, Lord Mayor, do you have any address of this Mennonite board they mentioned in the brief, either in Toronto or Winnipeg?
The address is not Toronto, and the Ontario Conference is not in Winnipeg. It is in St. Catharines, and I can supply that to you.
But then the brief, when they imply that it's
Is
Toronto,
incorrect. There are other inaccuracies as well, but I didn't even need to go there.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Thank you very much for coming forward with all your information.